Something that I think while you were saying that, I was like, we're searching for a norm when there shouldn't be a norm.
Yeah. Exactly.
There shouldn't be one way or the other. That shouldn't be, this is how you do it.
That's
like,
good.
there is no norm.
You can please some of the people all of the time.
You can please all of the people some of the time.
But you can't please all of the people all of the time. Welcome to the People Pleasers Podcast.
Hello, my fellow people pleasers. Welcome back to today's episode.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
How's it going?
It's going.
Yeah.
Yeah? I feel like we're all just like hanging on by a thread today.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
How
We
long
showed
did
up. We're here.
How long did we sit there before we were like, so should we go? So should we go upstairs?
Too long to admit.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, you need that. You need those days.
I know.
Yep.
You need
It's just
those
real.
days and weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We can end it or begin this episode with the song that we ended last episode with. I'm just kidding.
Or singing.
Yeah.
What? Oh.
Yeah, and Grace was going to throw in some dance moves.
Yeah, I heard she was actually wanted to sing this
I won't
time.
provide any vocals. I will provide hand movements and ow. No, I won't. No, I will not. I will break one of Dom's cameras if I do
That's
it.
too much.
I'll just sit here and observe and watch you both.
Yeah, and turn bright red.
Shut up. Shut up, Sarah. I don't know what you're talking about.
How was everybody's weekend? I don't think any of us had a wedding this weekend, did we?
No.
No?
Wow.
Nice.
We're on the same wavelength.
That's funny because I feel like usually on a weekend after a wedding, I'd be like,
yeah.
Yeah,
but we didn't have them.
right. You'd think we'd be more refreshed right now.
Seriously.
It's not the case.
I think it's just the season.
Yeah.
It's just the season that we're in,
Yeah.
work-wise. But
Yeah.
then also, I think the transition into fall is also great. But we kind of talked about this last week.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting, and we want to do everything, and we want to have fun. So it's the pressures, too.
Yeah.
Right. So what'd you do this weekend, Grace?
No, I'm
You
trying
go
to
first.
sit back and remember what I did this weekend because honestly, I don't know. I think it was pretty chill.
I think.
I think. Watch, there was this big event that happened. I forget. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was pretty chill. I think I honestly just kind of got some work done. Holt, we had a home game, so Holt was home in the evenings, which was really nice. His family came down, got to spend some good time with them, and then the game on Sunday. That really kind of, I feel like whenever it's a home game, my weekends revolve around home games. Football.
And outfits.
And outfits.
Thanks for helping me again, guys. Don't
It was
worry,
so
there's not a home
cute.
game again until October, so you have some time off.
No, you get some time
I
off.
get some time off. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
my weekend.
You look super cute in your outfit.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Thank you so much.
Your socks were cute.
I wanted to wear them again today.
But
I
they were
loved them
dirty.
so much. Yeah, they were gross. I haven't done laundry yet. Yeah, I'll bring them next time.
You'll get to do laundry soon.
Hopefully.
I know. I'm speaking too soon. We'll save that.
I'm gonna put it out in the universe. We're moving to a new apartment,
Woohoo!
Hopefully. and I'm really excited.
Yay.
And we'll have a laundry room.
So deserving.
No more dirty socks.
Laundry room and a linen closet. Yes.
Little
This
things.
is 20, almost 7.
The little things.
Little things. Yes. Yeah, I feel like honestly that's kind of what the weekend was about, was little things. It was just like Holt came home and days before games we just have more time to intentionally spend together, and I think we just laid on the couch either Friday or Saturday night, probably Friday night, and we just watched TV. He played some video games. I did some work. It was just like chill.
Good.
Yeah,
I love
just
that
little
for you.
things. Yeah, honestly, it was
Slow
really nice.
pace.
Yeah, very slow. Yeah. What about you guys?
Dom?
Okay. Okay. It was really good. We got to hang out with friends on Friday, which was super fun. Honestly, I think it was, with everyone's schedules, I think it was maybe 3 months in the making of trying to get together. So it was really good seeing everyone. And then Nico and Maddie were in town, which is my brother and his fiance. And it's so funny because I'm like, oh, I don't know when they're going to come back in town, but they come back so often. They're like, hey, we have a free weekend. Should we come back? And we're like, yeah. So always grateful to see them. So we had a big family day on Saturday at my parents' pool, which was nice.
Might be one of the
Yes.
last pool days.
I know. That's what we were thinking. So yeah, that was really good. Played some pickleball.
Nice.
And then on Sunday, had a birthday party and just watched the Chiefs, cleaned the house a little bit. And yeah, it was pretty good all around.
That sounds like a nice weekend.
It was.
Sounds ideal.
It was a good balance of
Yeah.
like friends, family, and then time for just like Mitch and I as well. So
Yeah.
it was good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Mine was okay. No, mine was good. It was my mom's birthday weekend, so we had a lot of fun.
Got to shout out Sharon one more time.
Every
Happy birthday,
episode, I
Sharon. We
told
love
you.
you.
Happy birthday, Cher.
Sorry, go ahead.
So it was good to spend a lot of family time together. We were pretty much nonstop the whole weekend. And then Saturday night, I got very sick, which we hit on last episode that Dom and I both have emetophobia,
Yep.
which is the proper term for the fear of throwing up. So your girl got hit with it hard. So the recovery from that, just like the mental side of things, has been hard for me because I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I have a very big wedding this weekend. So I'm just trying to like take it slow, starting off the week and get back into the right frame of mind to live my life again. So
Exactly.
Gosh. Nothing
Well, you're
worse than
here.
that. Yes,
I'm
you
here.
are.
Yeah, which is a big deal because
Yeah.
normally I would just hunker down for like days after it happens. So,
I wish that was more of an acceptable thing to do.
right. It's like physically I'm feeling better now
Yeah.
after a few days of feeling like shit. Excuse my language. But
Like we
now-
didn't say how many F words the first episode.
You're right. I'm feeling more like tender today. So like, I feel like I can't cuss, you know? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just the mental side of things, it really messes me. I mean, I'm sure with you too, Dom, whenever
Yeah.
it does happen to you, I'm sure it's a recovery mentally
Yeah,
for a
you're
few days.
you're definitely spiraling and yeah, I mean it's hard. It's scary. I don't know the last time I threw up, and I'm sure if I did, it would be on my mind
Yeah.
a lot. Just anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you, and we don't have to go fully into it this episode, but I am curious because now that I like think about it, I didn't know that was a thing until honestly you guys talked about it. Is it like the fear of throwing up yourself or someone else throwing up or both, or what is it?
It's both.
It's both.
Yep.
All of it. Anything to do with throw up. Even just like watching TV. And I know.
Oh, yeah. If there's a movie scene,
Well, what's funny
I'm
is
done.
that, yeah, no, it is. This sounds really silly. But the reason why I feel like I don't watch The Office that much, because Mitch loves it, is because I feel like there's always throw up scenes, which there probably
Interesting.
isn't with how many episodes there is.
There's a couple that
but
stand out
it's
to
like,
me.
I remember the episode, and even like Impractical Jokers or just anything we watch on TV, I like remember it instantly, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna feel that, but like it's funny because people will say, if you want to get over like that fear, go on YouTube and watch throw up videos. And I'm like,
you could not pay me
what?
enough money to do that. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
See,
absolutely
I know.
not.
I know.
Like I'm okay throwing up. Like if I do, like obviously no one enjoys it, but like I can do it. I don't like seeing other people. Like
Yeah.
anything like a meme or something that I scroll past, I'm like, oh my God. Like
Yeah.
I'm unwell for like a short amount of time, but I just can't. I don't like
I
other
had
people.
I had to delete Twitter because for some reason my entire feed would turn into those videos.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how or why. It's not like I was searching that.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, I'm not searching that.
Not seeking that
But
out.
I was like, I can't, like, this is triggering every single day. So I was like, okay, well, I don't need to be on X anyway. So
I refuse. I'll call it Twitter.
yeah, Twitter X.
Just like
whatever.
T-Mobile Center is Sprint
Sprint
Center.
Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like too, like nobody likes to throw up. Nobody likes seeing people throw up, but I think it just hits us differently.
Yeah.
It really can like disturb just mental side of things, our whole week, and just reviewing it over and over in our heads too. Like,
Yeah.
because I tell myself too, like in the past when I've thrown up, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I feel better. I'm fine. I got through it. But at the same time, it's like still just the scariest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I used to literally not, it turned into agoraphobia, which is the fear to leave your house. Years and years and years ago. But it was to a point where it was that bad where I would not leave my house because I was so terrified that somebody else was going to get sick. Not even me. Like I was like, I know I feel okay, but what if somebody around me doesn't?
Wow.
It's really debilitating. So, and that's what helped me was just being like, okay, nobody likes this.
Yeah.
And also it's such a short moment when it does happen. Like you can't let that little moment define your entire life and have a fear of that one little thing happening. But again, when it does happen to you, it's like the recovery for us is intense.
Yeah.
It takes time. So
does.
I'm hoping that by this weekend, I'll be back to my normal full self happiness, but I just didn't want to not share that because it's real. And that's like what's going on in my life. It's like, I'm not always going to be like my happy, like super outgoing self because I'm like fighting demons,
Fighting demons.
battling demons in my mind. But
Well, thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
Thanks for telling us.
yeah, but it was a good weekend despite.
Despite that.
Despite that.
Yeah.
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 Good.
Yeah. Today. Moving on today. We're talking about womanhood. Hitting on that third pillar.
Yeah.
Very vaguely, but
Yeah.
it's a loaded one too. There's so
It is a
many
loaded
different
one.
things that we
Yeah.
can talk about when it comes to womanhood and being a woman. And
It's kind of a complex one, too.
That's what I was going to say. I remember when we started picking our pillars with weddings, wellness, and womanhood. And we were talking about, okay, like which one, I think it was maybe the intro episode of which one we're going to talk about. And I'm like, don't give me womanhood. I just feel like it's so, like you said, so complex. And I'm just like, I don't know why, because that should be the simplest thing. Like I've been a woman my whole life and I've gone through all the stages and all the experience and everything. But just something about it, I'm like, I don't know. It's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. I mean,
Yeah.
even when you sit here and think, you're like, what is, because I think we were like, what is womanhood? Like, what
Yeah.
do we want the definition of womanhood to be?
Yeah.
And I think even that we kind of like stumbled across trying to like get it out of like what we wanted that to be as our pillar.
Yeah.
right.
Because we felt like it just related to, I mean, both the womanhood and the wellness side really relate to weddings, but we were like, how can it be its own pillar on its own?
Yeah.
But I think that's, again, also something that we've really been on like our own journey in the last 4 years since we've known each other with like our life stages first. Because like I said, we've seen so much life together that we've also walked through, and especially just, I don't like politics, I'm not going to talk about it, but just like the climate of all the things going on in our world right now revolving around women, our bodies, all those things, that I think it's been even heightened.
Yeah.
And it's made us kind of internally reflect on what being a woman means.
Yeah.
Because I didn't understand really. In college, I do remember, I can't remember where I was, but we were like praying before dinner, and it was like around Thanksgiving, and I think we were like going around the table, there's like one thing you're thankful for. And I was like, I'm thankful to be a woman. And I think that was the first time that I was like, wait, I kind of am starting to really understand what it means to be a woman and the cool things I get to do as a woman.
Yeah.
But I'm still trying to figure it out every day. Still trying to learn. But yeah. This is hard.
I know.
This is a hard thing to talk about.
And honestly, my brain is like not all there today.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's making it even harder.
We're all
but
at like 40% capacity right now.
I know.
We're
I
trying.
know. I mean, I talked about it in the last episode too. I was like, I haven't hit that crash yet that I feel coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, hit that.
It's happening.
Hit that hard.
It's here. It's here.
We are right in that crash right now.
Yeah.
We are. I mean, we have these for a reason.
Right. I think for me, turning 30, and now I'm 31, that was a big like pivotal moment for me to be like, okay, I'm a 30-year-old woman. Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing at this age? Is this where I thought I was going to be at this age? And it's not. Like at this point, I thought I would have multiple children.
Yeah.
Like my mom had me when she was like 23, 24. So I thought the same for me, because I always like have that natural, I want to be a mom. Like I feel like I have that caregiver energy just in me.
Yeah.
But the fact that I don't have kids, it's fine. But I feel like now I'm more so just focusing on career, and obviously starting this podcast is a big one, and saying that something that I've always wanted to do, and doing it in my 30s is so cool.
Yeah.
And empowering.
Why do you think we put so much pressure on 30? Because I feel like my sister's turning 30 this year. I have friends that are turning 29 or 30, and everyone's like, yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. And I'm kind of like, I'm not there, so maybe I can't understand it. But I'm also like, why? Why is it such a big kind of almost like negative thing?
I feel like, and honestly, like for me, I feel like it's just, I mean, I know it's just a number, but when you turn like 20, you're like, oh, like I get to drink soon, and I get to figure out my life, and am I going to marry my person? Like a lot of those things happen in your 20s, I feel like. But then when you hit 30, you're like, oh, I don't know. To me, I'm just like, I think it's as silly as it sounds, it just feels like a scary number.
Yeah.
To me. I don't know why.
Right.
Is it also like the pressures we put on to like have your shit together by 30?
I think so. I think it's just the pressure that society puts on you to be a certain way by that. Like your 20s are for discovering and finding yourself. And then your 30s, you're supposed to have your shit together. Yeah. You're supposed to know exactly what you're doing. And just
Yeah.
like the little day-to-day things, even like keeping up with the housework and having a pristine lawn and just like all these things that you, I know, but it's so silly, but it's like you think at this age, like I should have my shit together, but nobody ever really does. Like we're all just working through it.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be a certain way. It can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of pride turning 30 personally, because my 20s were definitely just not at all what I thought they were going to be. Just a lot of different, I mean, it also has to do with the people I associated with. Like I dated a lot of bad people. I didn't realize that there could be bad people, but I feel like with my personality type, those narcissistic type of men could kind of prey off of me, because I knew I didn't want to believe that people could be that bad and they could take advantage of that and they could manipulate and lie over and over again. And I would believe them until it got to a certain point where you're like, wake up, Sarah. Like this is not it.
Right.
I don't know where I was really going with that, but
No, I think it's, sorry.
Well, a lot of learning experiences.
I was going to
too.
say you needed to like learn those things, because like part of the reason you were in those situations is because they were things that you didn't know yet that you learned from to then learn for your mid to late 20s to now your 30s.
right.
I feel like 20s is just learning lessons.
100%. And it depends on how big those lessons are. It varies for different people, but again, because of the choices that you make, you might have to deal with harder life lessons than other people who are making, you know, or maybe more aware and know that there are bad people that can take advantage of you and know that going into it. But yeah, because Zach and I reunited at 26, so later 20s. And then at that point, up until that point, I was just kind of like a serial dater. Like I would date guys because I didn't want to be alone, and they weren't the right guys for me at all. Like, we can do other episodes about that. I've got some crazy stories. Yes.
Relationships will be a whole episode.
Right. Exactly. But I feel like once I finally I got out of the relationship I was in before Zach, was the first time I was like, okay, I need to focus on myself and not be with somebody and figure out what makes me happy. Even just finding hobbies. It was like, I don't even know what I like to do because I'm putting so much energy into other people. And I'm just not putting it into myself. So once I finally stopped and started doing that, that's when Zach and I reunited and then ended up being my person. So
real fast. I didn't know that you guys knew each other before.
Yeah. Well, we're both from Olathe.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that one.
Yeah.
Olathe.
Woo, woo. Not Olathe. Or
Not Olathe.
Yeah. Olathe. So we both went to different high schools and different junior highs, but became like Facebook friends. And we actually went to the movies together this summer going into high school. And we made out.
and we made out.
We made out.
Comes out.
I know, the truth comes out. And then we never really talked again after that. But that's like what you do when you're going into high school, right?
Oh, yeah.
But we always just...
Especially in the movies.
Especially... You don't watch the movie.
No, never.
Absolutely not. So back row only. And so we just always stayed like friends over social media, knew who each other were. But yeah, so we had that minor little experience, little fling, if you will. And then he moved away after college. And when he moved back was when we reunited through mutual friends. And I was like, oh, I'll go on a date with this guy because I made out with him before. Like, that's a good guy.
We already have a connection.
I know him.
Yeah, we've already swapped saliva. It's fine.
We're really talking about swapping saliva today, aren't we?
No. Always has to be some grotesque comment.
There's got to be something.
Yeah.
So we have
It's better than spewing.
A lot better than spewing.
Oh, man.
But going back, I am in my 30s now. You two are not.
No.
Not yet.
Late 20s. I really enjoyed turning 25. I think 25 was a great year for me. Anything before that was awful. I hated the early 20s.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if it was just because also that was COVID for me. And that was graduating college and all of the big milestones. I'm trying to get better at saying I hated it because I think I'm having a trouble with hating older versions of myself. Because now I'm like reflecting back on like choices that I made or things that I did that I'm having trouble giving myself more like grace about that. Because I look back and I'm like, why did I do that? What? I don't know. It's hard to be more like understanding with the version of yourself.
Yeah.
Like high school self, Early college self, she didn't know who she was. But I think it's also cool to reflect back on it. And like, I don't know. I think I told you guys this. Abby and I are really big about like envisioning younger selves and like literally giving them a hug.
Yeah.
And I think I'm really having a good time doing that with like young Grace, but I'm having a really hard time doing that with high school Grace because I'm like, you were stupid.
But see, and something I always talk about Mitch, because like we've been together for, it'll be 11 years this December. And so we've lived a lot of our lives together. And to me, I'm like, why did we do that? Or just like little things like being so in love or just like learning yourself. Like, yes, I know what you mean, where it's like you kind of look back and you're like, oh, that was cringy. Why did I do that? But at the same time, it's like it made you who you are today. And you are so confident like in yourself now. And it's like truly inspiring. So I think those like all led to like who you are today. But I know what you mean. It still is hard to look back and be like, we're just going to forget about that year or those years.
I think
I did.
Yes. Yeah. I think I also have a hard time of I'm so proud of who I am now that I'm kind of like sad that the people that knew that version of me don't get that like aren't in my life anymore don't get to know this version. And I'm like, oh, I hate that you knew that version because I feel like you would like this version so much more. But then I sit there and I'm like, no, that's not what this is about. Like, there are the different phases, the different seasons. I think it's just hard for me to like let go of that and remember I was a kid. I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Like, that's when we should be doing all of those things that we look back on and we're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
But what's that one quote where it's like, oh shoot, I'm gonna butcher it. Like, don't kill the part of you that cringes. Or I'm gonna say this so wrong.
Break the third wall.
Damn it, it's the fourth wall. Got that one wrong. Sorry, I should have done this before. I just remembered it.
We're fine. Do you want a song? I'm not really in the singing mood.
I know. I was going to say, I'm trying to think of a song.
Okay.
You know Sarah's not doing great when she doesn't even want to sing.
Oh,
It's okay. I'm fine. I'm here. I love you guys.
I love you. We're here for you.
Thank you.
We love you.
I'll get over
Always.
it. Yeah.
Okay, it's do not kill the part of you that is cringe. Kill the part of you that cringes. Like when talking about yourself.
Right.
And that's what I think I'm trying to remember of like, I shouldn't beat myself up over that. I should embrace it, learn from it, but also be like you said, like, because of that version of myself, I'm able to be this version of myself. But just being at peace with that version of myself.
Because even if you were back in the day, a different, say all the versions you wanted yourself to be.
Yeah.
Would you be the same version of
no.
yourself now? So it's like,
no.
it led you up to where you are now.
You're right. You're right.
And the people, you mentioned the people that you used to be friends with that knew that Grace, but not necessarily this Grace.
Yeah.
There's probably a reason why those people aren't
That's true.
still in your life to this day too. So
Yeah.
I think you can give yourself some more grace there as well.
I think it's the perfectionist in us too.
Yeah.
Like when you learn something, you're like, oh my gosh, that was so easy. Why didn't I just like follow that path? Or why didn't I just do that? And it's like, well,
Because you weren't supposed to yet.
yeah. Exactly.
How did I let that person have that much power
Yeah.
over me? It's like, wake up, Sarah. You're in there somewhere, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
20s are tough. 20s are great.
They're great. I was going to say, so I feel like my 20s, the beginning of my 20s are probably my favorite. And I think like,
Opposite.
I don't know exactly. Well, I do know why. Mitch and I got married. We bought our first home. We got our dogs. Like we truly started our lives together and being together for so long. Like we were together 6 or almost 7 years before we got married and we're like fully on our own. 'Cause like our first house was when we got married. So to me, those were the best years because it was like us truly learning and growing in our marriage, kind of growing just in like different stages of our lives, as well as just like not feeling so dependent on our parents or just, I don't know, like it was just all about us. And yeah, so I think those were like really special years. And I'm trying to think now what's really going on.
How is it having history with now your partner? Because like I think back to that and I'm like, man, I wish I could have known Holt in high school or middle school. I wish I could have seen the stages. And you guys had more of like the early life milestones together.
Yeah.
How has that like been now? Because you said you were together for 6-7 years before you got married. Now this is what year of marriage?
It'll be, well, year of marriage, 4 years in October. So next month.
See, that's a lot of life you've lived together.
Yeah.
And a lot of versions of each other that you've seen too.
Yeah. A lot of growing. Yeah, I think it's super special. Like Mitch was my first boyfriend. I was his first girlfriend. I mean, you can be like, oh, I dated this person in middle school and we barely hugged and that was it, you know, that kind of stuff. But he was my first like intentional boyfriend. And the same with me being his girlfriend. And so, yeah, I just kind of fell into place because we weren't really dating to marry at that age. We were just still so young and that wasn't on our minds. And to not ever have had a boyfriend, girlfriend before that, you don't really, that's not what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
And it just kind of ended up working out where we both were kind of obsessed with each other in the beginning. And then it just slowly, you know, was like, oh, like, are we going to do life together forever?
Yeah.
And that's what we decided. What was your question?
Basically that. I have so much respect for people that are like high school sweethearts or so many inquiries now I get that's like, we've been best friends or neighbors or like together since middle school. And I'm like, that takes a lot of, I mean, mutual respect and compromise and growth. Because those are such huge years. Not saying that like 20s and on aren't. Yeah. But that's a time you're also just trying to figure out yourself, but doing it with someone at the same time. I just have so much respect for that. And I think it's so cool.
It's also awesome. But I feel like it was hard. Like there were times where, you know, I wasn't as confident in our relationship, was like, is this my person forever? Like, you know, you think about going away for college and you think about only have been with one person and just like, okay, you know, like it definitely was an easy road for us. I feel like there was a lot of things we had to figure out, but we chose to be together, and it is really special to have like think back, like, was he my first kiss? I'm trying to think. I don't know. I feel like there might have been
one
like
that matters.
Right. And so
the last.
Yeah. So it's like to think back to those sweet memories of like first of everything and just all of that. Like it's special for sure. But yeah, it's definitely, but I feel like we're kind of, the last few years have been obviously still amazing, but I feel like I'm changing as a person than I was. Like sometimes I feel like I'm a little late to not change, but just like, it takes me a little while or a little longer than other people to fully be like, oh, like I am changing.
Accept
Does that make
those
sense?
changes and realize things like you mentioned. Anxiety.
Yeah.
It's something that you've had your entire life, but you're just now starting to come to terms with the fact that you have an anxiety disorder. This is something that you've lived with and you've never really been able to put into words. So it sounds like you're going through, you know, just a lot of personal growth yourself in your late 20s, which is totally fine. It's not like there's a timeline for any of that growth.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly true. Like have for sure been going through my journey of anxiety where I kind of just really figured out last year that I have anxiety, and being okay saying I have anxiety. And if I need to see someone or get on medicine, like just feeling okay that those things are there to help me. Yeah. But yeah, I think kind of where I was going with that is now that I am, like it'll be 11 years. I feel like I'm changing a little differently. I think Mitch is changing. I think there's definitely been years where he's like excelled more, and you know, there's years where I've excelled more, and I feel like that is my year these past 2 years. And so it's cool to see, but I think it can be challenging because I think when you've been together with someone for so long, you're like, oh, you're going to be the same as you were back then. And it's like, wait, actually, like some of the things you used to do, like we're kind of switching and things like that. One thing I always think of is back then, like he was the spontaneous one. And now like roles are kind of switching where I'm the spontaneous one. And it's like taking me back. It's like, wait, you're not down for this? I thought you were. And not that that's a bad thing or anything, but it's just us growing in different waves and
at different times.
Continuing to choose each other too throughout all of that, and accepting this new quote unquote version of yourselves.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
It's special that you found that person so early on, and you've always had that constant support throughout life. I think that's really special and hard to find. So
it is. Yeah. Definitely don't take it for granted. It's definitely very special.
Love that. Well, you kind of started to say it, and I think we've kind of touched on, but I know, like, what are some things you guys are proud of that you've done either in your 20s or like from whenever to now? Like, are there things that you guys recognize that, like, you're proud of yourself that you've grown in or that you're still growing in? That's a loaded ass question. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't even know my answer, so it's okay.
Oh, gosh. I would say I'm proud of myself for eventually figuring out my worth and not letting anybody take advantage of me like I once allowed to happen, whether it be a relationship or a boss.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of not so great bosses in my past, and, you know, learning how to stand up for yourself and walk away when it's time to walk away. It's hard, but just knowing that self-worth is there and that confidence is there now where it didn't used to be there. It was very meek and just want to please everybody. I don't want to say the wrong things, hurt anybody's feelings. But now it's just, I know that worth is there.
And I've noticed that in you through the boundaries that you've set and like actually sticking to them. I've noticed that through just how you carry yourself. Like, because I saw you obviously at our job and now, and not that you like didn't, but I've just seen what's the word I'm looking for? Try not to use growth so much. I know. But like, that's the word that keeps coming to mind.
Elevation.
Yes.
An elevated Sarah.
I've higher self.
Yes. I've just seen it in the way that like you talk to people and work with people, especially in our jobs. It's just evident that you carry yourself with so much more like confidence.
Thanks. Confidence is hard to find.
It's very hard.
It's hard. And I still have obviously things I'm insecure about or not the most confident with, but it's just choosing to accept those insecurities and then not let them define you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say it's very evident in you that you can like see all that. And also too, I know we've kind of touched on like last episode of how you were like starting to pick yourself apart, and Zach was like, hey, I feel like he's helped you like a lot too 100%. In that area, and having a partner that is able to call you out or encourage you or show you a different perspective, different way of thinking. Like,
like when it comes to like beauty standards and things like that, like Zach has never ever once put me down or made me feel less than ever. Like he makes me feel like I'm the most beautiful woman in the world every single day, and he like tells me that every single day. So finding that partner that does that when that's not something I ever used to have, it's very special. So it just shows you that holding out and waiting for the right person sometimes is the right decision, where sometimes the right person finds you earlier on in life, and you can't plan for it.
Exactly.
It's just going to happen when it's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Everyone's journey is different.
Yeah, it is
for sure. A few things that I feel like more recently that I'm excited that I've kind of excelled in is understanding my anxiety. I know we touched on that, so I won't get too deep into that. That'll be another topic for a day, but really understanding what anxiety was. Like, I remember last year when I got to my breaking point, I needed to do something different, and a podcast actually helped me so much, which is literally the best thing that could have ever happened to me. So definitely understanding my anxiety, what to work on, certain things that I had to do I'm a very stubborn person. I like to hold my pride. I don't like needing help from anyone. But last year I started seeing a counselor, and I had never thought that was something I was going to do. My family obviously loves me and supports me, but they've never really had to see a counselor. It was very taboo and very, we just kind of get better on our own and things like that. Yes. And some of my family members, don't have mental health issues, so they don't, excuse me, they don't, it wasn't an option for them. They just weren't like, I need to see someone, just because they haven't gone through that. But that was something that was really hard for me to do. And I feel like I was pleasing everyone, or I thought I would please everyone if I didn't do it. Yeah. But I needed to choose myself. And it was the best thing ever. I saw her for a year. I don't see her anymore. But she ended up getting her own private practice. And so that changed my life. Like, that really helped me. And then another thing too, like for Mitch and I more personally, he's always wanted to like have rental properties and stuff like that. Growing up, his parents had rental properties and stuff. And so that was always something he wanted to do. And we bought our house, almost 4 years ago. We started renting it out this past year, and now we're in a new home, and like we're planning to turn this home into a rental as well. So like, I'm excited for us because we've been talking about that I don't know, like 6 years ago, like half of our relationship ago. So it's been really cool to like see that side of things. For him, I know that like gives him the creative energy he needs and the excitement and stuff. So those are just a couple things that have happened more recently that I feel like, wow, like, yeah.
I think, speaking as your friend, I've really loved watching how comfortable you've got with being uncomfortable. Like, you have been so much more outspoken and honest, and like you're always going to do that in the nicest way possible, that I just have loved watching you dive into the uncomfortable feelings and like talk to us about it, because that's been, I think, the thing that stood out to me about you in the last year. Even when we sat down to talk about the podcast and you told me about your anxiety, you'd never shared that really with us before. And just sitting there and hearing you and just seeing how just not like, because it's not like anxiety is a good thing to talk about, but you just felt lighter and just like talking about it and sharing it. I could just tell. I was like, okay, this is so cool that she's sharing this with me. But also this is something like knowing you and knowing a past version and this version. I'm like, I love how much you've like stood up for yourself.
Oh,
it feels like you've really found your voice.
Yeah.
Is how I would put it.
I really agree with that.
Yes, she has. Like, she's always, like you said, you've always just been like so sweet. And I think you've said this about yourself, like described yourself as a little meek before. And I don't see that side of you anymore. Like, you really have grown into like the woman that you want to become. And I know you're just going to keep growing from here. So it's really exciting to see and be your friend and witness all of that.
You guys are so sweet. But it's also, I think a lot of it has to do with like the people you surround yourself with, and having you guys as my friends, literally the most encouraging people ever and uplifting people ever. So it's like you guys have helped me with that too. And even just seeing from your guys' example, you know, looking how you guys are and how confident you are. And so I think you guys helped me. It looks like you're about to cry. Are you
emotional today, guys?
Oh, I love you. I love you so much.
It's just sweet because I think we all have, you know, put in work to get to this version of ourselves. And it's just nice to see that, like, you see this confident and outspoken and, you know, that woman that it's like, I didn't ever used to be that way. So what about you, Grace?
I love this.
Something I think I'm really proud of myself that I've worked on in the last year or two is really kind of being more comfortable with my trauma and talking about it, but also like feeling it. And I think some of that happened on its own without me even wanting it to. And I was kind of forced to be like, oh my gosh, this is here. This is a lot of big feelings. These are a lot of big conversations. And I don't know, I'm just kind of more proud of myself for trying to understand that more, and do a lot of like the internal reflection. Like I said, really going back to visit past versions of myself and tell that version that I'm proud of her, even though despite what she was going through or what was just given to her in that season of life, and just recognizing more of the good in those seasons rather than reflecting on that bad. But yeah, exploring my trauma, but also I think too, being more confident in the woman that I am. And I think I'm more proud of myself at like 23, 24. That's when I really honed in on just figuring my own self out and working on that self-worth, making sure I'm taking care of myself. And I was at probably the most content place I've ever been with myself. And I was on cloud 9. And then I was like, I don't need relationships. I don't need anything. And then I'm at Holt. So I think I'm just like being able to recognize that right before of like, I really was in such a great place because I was working on those things and I put in the work to do that.
Exactly. I don't think you would have met Holt before you're ready for that relationship.
No. And I don't think we would have worked out.
No.
I don't think so many friendships would have worked out that I have now had I not like kind of put in the work to focus on myself and do better for me and just work on that confidence. Still working on it, but it's better than it was.
Work in progress.
Yeah.
We all are. And you've come such a long way just knowing, you know, just what you were dealt with, what you were given that you did not ask for, and how you've turned that into making you the person that you are today is really, really special. And I can't imagine. So
thanks, Sarah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
I love this so much.
I know, I do too.
Yeah.
I think this is what we needed for
think
today.
so.
I know
yeah.
we needed
A lot
just
of
like
affirming.
gentleness and lots of
sweet words.
affirmation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Words of affirmation today.
Yeah.
Obviously there's things we're like proud of about ourselves. And I think a lot of that stems from the people, like you said, that we surround ourselves with, either friends or family or whomever. What are things I know in each other, but maybe outside of that, what are some qualities that you look for in friends or that you admire or
One thing that's kind of coming to my mind is being the difference. I feel like when you have somebody that, say for instance, like maybe she's not getting celebrated as much, but she's still like celebrating you well, still celebrating everyone else well. And I'm not saying to the point where like she's just, celebrating everyone and not getting that, but it's like, it's almost like she isn't treating people how she's being treated, but treating people how she wants to be treated, as simple as that is. Like, I just feel like when you have someone that's
like selfless.
Yeah.
They're never really thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
They're always just
Yeah.
thinking about someone else.
Thank you. I needed that.
That's kind of what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Mine too. Someone that's selfless, but also someone that's intentional.
Yeah.
That goes out of their way to make you feel valued.
Yeah.
And again, I think that goes into someone that's not really, you need to put yourself
Yeah.
first sometimes.
Right.
But it's more of an even kill.
But
they're thinking of themselves and they're thinking of others.
Yeah. And I feel like sometimes it is easy to be like, well, they haven't reached out, so I'm not reaching out. Or, well, honestly, they didn't text me back when I was having a bad day, and now I'm kind of holding that over them. Like, it's easy to kind of get in your head about that. I think when people respond kind, you respond kind. And sometimes when people respond not as kind, you're like, well, my guards are up now and I'm feeling fiery. And I always try to like remember myself of like, maybe they're in a season of life that's harder, or, I want to be the difference. Like, I still want to give that unconditional love, unconditional support, and try and see the good that was maybe just a day they were having. That wasn't who they are. If that makes sense. But I think
that's really important. But at the same time, I think it's also important to know when a friendship is no longer serving you. And when you give them the benefit of the doubt and give them grace over and over and over again, and they continue to just burn that bridge, there comes a point where you have to take a step back for yourself as well.
Absolutely.
So
I'm horrible at doing that.
I mean, nobody likes it.
No.
I know. I can
hold on
definitely
to
work
the
on that
history.
too. Yeah.
Like it's one of those things where like maybe this season of life, this is not a time we're meant to be friends, but I think I hold on to like, but 3 years ago we were the closest and we did all this together and we have all these memories and maybe we can get back to that. But I think letting that go is so hard, because it's not necessarily like you're like, I just don't like who you are anymore. It's just you guys have grown into different people, which is okay. But I think allowing yourself to let go of that friendship, and maybe it comes back. Yeah. Maybe it was just a seasonal friendship and you needed that in that season, but it is so hard to let that go.
Yeah.
I hate that.
I know. Like, that's a more negative outlook for the answer to your question. But
it's true though.
But it is
thought.
true. You got to think of yourself. And like Grace, you said, like, I'm the worst at that too. I will let people walk all over me. I will continue to try and see the good. I will continue to hold on to those years that you had with them. Yeah. But I think that's something I'm slowly starting to learn too, because I know, and I'll let you talk in just a second, Sarah, but also just the fart.
The fart.
Why did that sound so nervous? It was
the fart.
It's funny because you knew you weren't trying to say fart, so you were like the fart.
It was like my words just like
the fart.
You got to toot. Don't put that in there, please. Get that out of here.
Toot.
Okay. The last thing I was gonna say was just the part where I don't even know what I was gonna say.
Okay.
I literally have no idea, but it was good. It was
okay.
really
Take
good.
a moment.
What were we talking about?
Stepping away from friendships that are no longer serving you, and knowing when to stop giving them the benefit of the doubt,
and not hold on to the history,
and not hold on to that.
Yes, I think what I'm learning too is like Mitch and I really talked this year. We want our intentional close-knit group of friends for so long. I've been just like still holding on to those friendships that have been, we've been friends for so long, so maybe I should see them a couple of times throughout the year. And not that I just need to like be like, oh, bye, but it's just like sometimes I have this bad habit of like, well, I should reach out, it's been so long, but it's like they could reach out too. But this year I just am really wanting to focus on quality over quantity and just really get close with those people that are there for me and that we have like grown. I'm just having a really hard time.
We all are.
Yeah. It's okay.
But yeah, just the close-knit group of friends is kind of what I'm wanting to just have. And like to even just like wanting a family soon as well. Like, I don't know, like
being more
time is
protective
precious.
of who you want to allow into that next chapter of your life too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would say I look for, or qualities that I look for in a friend is somebody who, oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought too.
All of a sudden you start thinking about it.
I know,
like,
and now I'm like, I have so many thoughts, but I don't know how to put them into words.
Well, you're also trying to like validate me too.
But I was trying to get back to the question because I took us off on a tangent about setting boundaries and blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. So you said somebody who
quantity.
Oh, I have something to say about that if you need time to think. Go ahead. Going into like quality versus quantity, I also think there's something to be said about convenience over intention. And I think like growing up, you kind of have friendships that are more convenient because you're in the exact same stage of life. You see each other every day. You go to school. You play the same sports. Whereas like as adults, those friendships take so much effort and time. You don't live in the same state as some people. You're in a totally different life stage as other people. Right. There's so much intention behind adult friendships and so much effort.
Yeah.
That sometimes that's where the disconnect happens. Yeah. Where it's like we just have different priorities.
Yeah. Right. And it's really important too. So something that I look in a friendship is somebody who's not going to hold on to the fact that we haven't talked in X amount of weeks or months or even a year.
Yeah.
And they're just, when you can pick right up where you left off with them, those are the true, good, intentional friends that aren't going to hold anything against you or think that you're not giving them enough when you're just trying to survive yourself.
Yeah.
It's nothing personal. It's just, you can only give so much to everyone all the time. We talk about this every episode pretty much, how we're trying to be intentional with our time and give everybody the space that they deserve. But when you don't have the time, how do you make it work and have long-lasting friendships?
Yeah. Life is exhausting. Like, and I don't know about you guys. I don't know if it's just the older we get or maybe just the generation we're in right now with just so much technology and living such busy lives, but it is literally exhausting. And so, yeah, like you said, just realizing like those friends that, maybe you haven't talked to in so long, just understand that, life's busy for you, life's busy for me, it's for all of us. So, yeah. I
think something that made me kind of think of is something that I also look for in friendships now is people that disagree with me. Because I think, again, going back to like convenience or just similar upbringings or situations, that I think now I kind of seek out people that have different viewpoints or values. And I think there's a fine line in that because obviously you want to have similar values as people. And I think as long as it obviously doesn't get in the way of your values, but appreciating someone else's viewpoint on something. Yeah. I'm kind of looking for differences in friendships rather than similarities. Because I'm like, I already know we get along. I already know we have similarities. But I kind of want to know things that you think or feel that I don't, because I want to sit there and be like, oh, I haven't really thought about that. And I probably wouldn't have. And I want to think differently, or I want to have a different opinion, or I want to see a different side, even if I still hear you out and I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Still don't agree, but I
like hearing that. Yeah.
I think if everybody had that outlook, Grace, the world would be a better place.
It would be.
That hits deep.
It does.
Yeah. Just knowing that you can still be friends with somebody that you may disagree with on even just one specific topic.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can still have that friendship and you can still disagree.
And that's, I think, obviously, again, don't like to talk about it. I know I brought it up twice kind of broadly. I think that's just been shoved down my throat lately with like politics. Yeah. Seeing people that I've known forever that like we are adults and we're able to put our opinions out there, but kind of seeing them on full display. And it's like, wow, okay, this is good to know. I wouldn't have thought this, but I'm also not going to say you're wrong or hold it against you. I want to hear you out. I want to hear your side, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh God, I hate that people are like, if you don't like it, block me. It's like, that's fine. You can do that. But it's like, have you just tried to have a conversation about it without getting heated?
Yeah.
I get defensive.
Without thinking that you're right and your way is the only way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And people have grown up. We've all gone through different things in our lives that shape us.
Yeah.
Like I always talk about that of just like with Mitch all the time of when people don't disagree, everyone's perspective is different on things. And it makes me just so upset that, like you guys are saying, people just write people off because it's like, well, you know, they don't agree with me on this, or they hurt me this day and I'm just going to cut them out of my life. Like, and, you know, thankfully I'm a loyalist on the Enneagram, which is like a 6. And so maybe I could do a little better about cutting some people out of my life. But I just think it's so sad when it's literally, sometimes it's a simple issue and people are just so easy to be like, yeah, block me, cut me out of your life.
Yeah.
You know,
Go ahead and unfriend me.
Yeah, it's so sad.
I've just been seeing that everywhere. And I
Right.
think, again, it's just people that I do admire and I'm friends with that I'm like, we have similar but also different feelings and viewpoints, and that's okay. And I think it's leaning into being uncomfortable about that, but also that's where it's like, okay, I'm going to sit here and respect your decision. I hope you respect mine. And if you don't, that's where it's kind of like, okay, that's not very nice.
Yeah.
Maybe, moving on.
That was me.
But I think it's something to be said about finding the people that disagree with you, but also respect you in turn, like vice versa.
Yeah.
That's where I think strong friendships come from.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because if you disagree with each other all the time, it's boring.
Yeah,
Exactly.
True.
What do you talk about?
No personality.
There's nothing to talk about. You're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
We just sit there going, yeah.
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 Yeah. We're pretty good at that.
Yeah, we are pretty good at that. We come from a point of validation.
Yes.
I hear you. I'm listening.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
I'm gonna nod.
Yeah.
Exactly. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, we do agree on a lot of things.
We
so
do.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
also what makes us friends. So
Yes.
it's a fine line for all of it.
Yeah.
Like you can't disagree on too many things that you're like, okay, like you said, our values, our morals, none of that align.
Yeah.
That's not somebody that you want in your life.
Right.
And then again, we always say this, giving people grace, but
Yeah.
you can only do that so many times before you have to draw that
Yeah.
line. And I've
Yeah.
had a couple of friendships that I've had to do that with. And
Yeah.
it's like people who I thought would be in my wedding, I thought would be a part of my life. And it's like when things get to a point where they're bad enough and you just know like this is just not serving me in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form anymore,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you got to walk away and be okay with it.
Exactly.
It's no different than a relationship.
Right.
Any
There's
relationship.
nothing wrong with
yeah,
that.
the
Yeah.
romantic relationship, I should say. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Is
also
there-
have a thought. Sorry.
Oh, no, you go.
It left me. Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, is there anybody who in the social media world or television or something like that that has really made your viewpoint of being a woman, I don't know, not change your viewpoint, but inspired you? And I can answer too if you guys don't have anybody in
Yeah,
mind.
go for it.
Okay.
I was thinking about this and I have someone, but go,
No, you
go
go.
first. No, go first.
No, you
Because
go.
I don't know how to explain this one. Go ahead.
Okay. Alona Mar. Do you know who she is?
No.
This is a more recent one. She was just in the Olympics. She's a rugby player.
Yeah.
And she's all about, different representing and celebrating different body types and that you don't have to look a certain way to be considered beautiful. And she's really big on combining masculinity and femininity and how you don't have to be one or the other. You can be both as a woman. And that's really when you're going to tap into your strength.
Yes.
I
Now I know who
absolutely
you're
love
talking.
her.
Yes.
I don't know. I'll have to look her up after.
She's she's so
Yeah.
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've been thinking a lot about Taylor Swift.
I knew that's where you were going to go.
And
Yeah.
I don't, because she's someone I never really thought about, but also
Yeah.
she's someone that I think it's crazy to me right now. I've seen some like podcasts where just people are shitting on her. And part of me is like, how as another woman can you do that? Why would you do that? But also like the reasons that they bring up. It's mainly with politics or religion.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's even brave enough to say her,
Yeah.
viewpoint, so many celebrities don't. They just stay quiet.
Yeah.
Because they
Right.
don't want to ruffle any feathers or
Right.
have people disagree with them. But the fact that she knows when she feels she needs to speak on something, I think that's really admirable.
Because she's still a human and she has every
Yeah.
right to.
Yeah.
It's not like just because she is probably one of the most famous people in the world. And yeah, she's a billionaire. She earned her way to do that. It's not like she
Right.
cheated and lied. And it's just weird to me when you look up, like, I literally Googled, what has Taylor Swift done wrong? It's all
crickets.
personal perspectives.
Yeah.
It's not like she went to jail, she committed this, she did this. It's like, no, she's just another human being.
Yeah.
But I think it's just something that I can't even imagine stepping into her headspace, but the woman that she is in spite of everything. And like I said, I really didn't start following her until honestly her and Travis probably started dating. And I've never had any like negative opinions. I've just never been a Swiftie, but I remember watching her documentary on Netflix in 2020. And watching that, I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
I didn't realize she was kind of such a badass.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That is just a one for me that I'm still kind of exploring because I know everyone has a lot of opinions about her right now. But politics aside, whether you agree with her or not, I think she's just a great person.
I agree.
I don't know. And I admire
hard to
her
see,
for that.
Other women just completely just like talking her down. And
Yeah.
it's like, is it jealousy? Like, what is that? Especially women talking bad about women. That's something that's really hard for me to wrap my head around. Like,
And I think that's why
we need each other.
Yes.
Like, we need each other.
Right.
And if you like look, even I'm sure majority of those comments are from other women. It's not men. Men aren't paying attention to anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the topic, but
Yeah.
for the majority of things that have to do with her, like majority of her posts and things like that, it'll be women that are just talking bad. And it's like, why? It has to be something with yourself to make you feel like you have to talk badly.
And
like
even
that.
just like you said, one different perspective that changes everything for people, and it shouldn't.
Yeah.
And that's what's sad.
Yeah.
Is literally one thing that they may disagree with, and it's like, okay, we're shutting her off. Like, she's out of our life, whatever. She's not in their life, but it's sad that it's usually just one thing.
And it's not like it's anything bad. Like, they don't like her relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't like some people's relationships, and they're
right.
much more vocal in certain ways and other ways that she's not. That I'm like, why do we care, first of all? But also, like, why are we shutting down someone that truly does stand for women?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just kind of like, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I could have ranted. I've just really been thinking about that one a lot. And I think that's the only thing that came to my head when I saw that we were talking about womanhood today, because I've just been seeing stuff about her everywhere.
Yeah.
And I've been seeing a lot of good and negative because I have a wide range of Swiftie friends and Swiftie haters that are on my Instagram. And it's just so interesting to see it both.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for that long.
No, don't apologize.
Don't
Conversation?
at all. I don't think there's anyone specifically coming to mind right now.
It's okay.
So yeah.
Still learning.
Yeah.
Still learning.
You should follow Alona Mar.
I should.
Yes,
yeah.
And Taylor Swift. If you haven't already.
Do follow Taylor Swift. But yes, I will have to follow her.
But kind of going into also like how society is talking about viewing Taylor. Also, I think it's in our lives been a big thing how society has viewed women from obviously before us, but even in our 20, 30 years of life, the role of a woman has significantly changed in society's eyes.
Right. Because it's like used to be, you're the homemaker, you're the caregiver, you're taking care of the home and the children and making sure that side of things is accounted for while your husband's, bringing in that financial stability. But now it's like, as women, we still have that innate being to want to take care and nurture things, but we also have our careers on top of that. So if anything, it's like we're doing both roles.
Yeah.
I do lately, and I don't know why, this is kind of an uncomfortable feeling I've been having because I'm like, why am I feeling this? Is this okay? What does this mean? I wonder if it's just like growing up, not saying it was said to me or like shoved down my throat that like, you will do this and you will do that, because no, I lived a very great childhood where I was able to make my own decisions. But I think also people and small towns and things that we are surrounded by feel normal, that when we grow up and we're able to make our own decisions, we're like, wait, no, I believe this, but it feels wrong.
Yeah.
Because I think in the last 2 years with women and women empowerment and women in the workforce and all things womanhood, I'm sitting here kind of sometimes where I'm like, man, we're really talking about it a lot. Or I see it on TV and I'm like, they're really just honing in on womanhood. And I'm like, and then I'm like, no, why do I feel that way? Why am I uncomfortable because I don't know. I've had the conflict of, are we talking too much? And I'm like, no, we're not. That's my internal, that's like, no, maybe we should just, that was enough. Now we can stop talking about it. But I had a better way I wanted to explain this.
But I feel like even when I've like brought up my period or our periods on this, both of
You
you have had the reaction to be like, don't talk about that. But it's things as simple as that it's like, why do we feel like we can't talk about that?
Why is that not a normal thing? And why do I feel uncomfortable that we're talking about women so much? Because I'm like, no, this is awesome. But inside of me, I'm like, that's okay. I'm like, no. I had such a better way I was going to describe that. I did not do that justice.
We're gonna watch this back, and you're gonna be like, fuck! I have so many thoughts.
There's so many thoughts.
I'm sure anybody listening is gonna be like, oh, she's trying to say yes.
I know what I want to say, but I think again it goes back to kind of what I said to you at the beginning, like leaning into the uncomfortable and being comfortable with the uncomfortable. Like you said, talking about periods. Why is that uncomfortable?
Right. Feeling like you have to carry a tampon to the bathroom quietly
and hide it.
Yeah.
Well, and in my opinion too, like why do guys get to go, oh my God, don't talk about it. It's like, why can't
you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah. How many gross things? No, that's me. how many things about like the male body is so normal to talk about, but then when it comes to females, it's like, ew.
Yeah.
Why is that a thing?
Yeah.
We're changing that.
I know we are.
And it is changing more.
Here at the People Pleasers Pod.
Just us, 3 women against the world.
We're changing the world. I think it's also too trying to, again, differing opinions and differing views. I think something right now that is kind of more of a hot topic with what is seen as like the traditional roles people are like kind of shitting on. And it's like, here's the deal. Not everyone has to be, I want to be the CEO. I want to do this. I want to do that, because that matters just as much as I want to stay home and take care of my kids. I want to be a part of their life. I want to do these things with them. None is worse or lesser than the other. No. But I also don't like that especially women are having opinions about that. Of like, oh, you want to do this? Oh, okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I think the fact of the matter is we have the choice.
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
Yes.
We can have these careers that are, something that women didn't used to have back in the days. Or we can want to be that stay-at-home mom and raise the family. Or you can do both.
Yeah.
And it just depends on the person, and there's not a right or wrong way to go about it.
Right.
Again, it comes back to women shitting on women.
Yes.
At the end of the day. And I'm like, why are we doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something that, and not to go back to, but something that was a hot topic for a while was like Harrison Butker's comments.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't like that at the end of the day, then it became a woman against woman thing. The people, at least speaking for myself, this is my opinion, the people that feel differently from him, they can not agree with him, but it's the woman of disagreeing with the woman that feels like him.
Yeah.
They have a choice to think whatever they want. It's the man that's where I was like, nah, okay, that's fine. You can think that, but get a woman up there. And then if they have that opinion, respect that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think it's then at the end of the day that it got pitted women against women.
Right.
That I was like, no, why are we doing this?
Started by something that one man said.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then look what it turned into.
Yes.
Yeah.
That I know is a hot one, but
I know. It's just, I have so many thoughts, but.
Yeah. Even just to kind of go back to the part about, women just being upset with other women or feeling like it has to be this way or putting other women down and stuff like that. Like, kind of what I try and remind myself is sometimes it's easy to compare yourself, and it's easy to, think like, okay, well, when Mitch and I have kids, like, do I want to be a stay-home mom? Do I not? I don't know. We're not at that stage of life. But a lot of my friends right now that have kids want to be stay-home moms because they feel like they're missing out on so much of their kids' lives already.
Yeah.
And kind of just something I always view is with women, like, it's easy for me to like easily compare myself, and I have to realize we're different. Like, maybe she can do 2 jobs. Maybe I'm best at either doing one job, like staying home and taking care of the kids, or working. Like, I just think we're all different, and I think it's just reminding yourselves that we all work at different paces. We all can excel in different things. We all naturally have better gifts that were given to us. And yeah, just understanding that, because sometimes we do just want to compare and be like, well, she's doing all 3 of these things. Why can't I? Why can't I do it in the speed she's doing it? And so I think it's just, giving each other grace and realizing, just we're gonna do things differently, and
that's okay. There's not a right or wrong way.
Something that I think while you were saying that, I was like, we're searching for a norm when there shouldn't be a norm.
Yeah. Exactly.
There shouldn't be one way or the other. That shouldn't be, this is how you do it.
That's good.
There is no norm. But we're constantly searching for the norm when there shouldn't be one anyway.
Get that snap. Right. Who created the norm?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
What a day, guys.
Yeah. Sorry.
What a day. Words are hard.
We're trying the best we can today. And I think
energy is low.
But I think it's important, though, that we share that, because
100%.
we're not, like I said to start the episode, we're not always going to come into every episode being 100% and feeling our best, but we're still choosing to do this every week and put ourselves out there and get together regardless of what's going on in our personal lives or in our heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
Some of us.
We are just human, and, we're only 4 podcasts in. We're like, oh, is this the 4th? Yeah. This is the 4th.
Count the intro, so yeah.
Yeah.
I forget one's coming out Thursday, which is
yes,
last week's,
yes,
not this week's.
Yeah.
That's true. But yeah, how many ever podcasts we're in?
Not many. We're still amateurs.
Yeah.
We're still a little bit.
It's like, okay, we knew this was going to happen. We're not all going to be on the same wavelength every day, and we're not all going to have the energy and stuff like that, and life happens. So
that's okay.
But we're still showing up. We're doing our best, and hopefully people will see that through our conversation. Yay.
Should we do for better or for worse?
Oh, yes. God, yeah. Did we ever pick anything?
Yeah, we did.
What was it? What was it?
Again, that brain power is...
I think it was the one you said. Intimate...
Private ceremonies.
Private ceremonies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for better or for worse, intimate private ceremonies.
I'm having a really hard time with this one.
I personally, I don't know. I think I'm for worse. I didn't do that for mine. Everyone that was invited to the ceremony was invited to the reception. I see the point of it, and I think it's very sweet. But all the people that were invited to my wedding played a very important role in my life and has helped shape me. And, I wanted them to be able to see the ceremony, because to me, the ceremony was the most important thing for me on my wedding day with Mitch. And our best friend performed the ceremony, and he did amazing. So it was really sweet. And honestly, to this day, I think that's what most people talk about when they see my wedding. And even my parents' friends that I was close with growing up, that's the part they see, because I think this ceremony for Mitch and I was very religious and very important of us becoming one. And so to me, I wanted everyone that knew me to see that. So
yeah,
I think, I liked
that.
I guess, yeah.
I feel like I have my answer as a photographer, and I have my answer as Grace.
Okay. Answer is Grace.
Answer is Grace. I think for worse. I think, because I've been thinking about it a lot lately, this is my one time I get to have everybody there. Because full candid honesty, Holt and I have talked about that.
Yeah.
And we kind of go back and forth for a lot of reasons. But I keep going back to the fact that I'm like, when that does happen, I want everybody there that I want to be there. But I also have seen, as a photographer through my job, and this is the photographer lens, I have seen some incredible ceremonies with the intimate aspect that, to me, it's not like they've felt any better than the ones that were larger with everybody, but there's something about the feel that I really loved. But I wonder if that's because I'm looking through a different lens than personally for myself. I'm more so looking at it as how I can capture that emotion. It's easier when it's smaller numbers.
Yeah.
I'm torn. I really
No.
am.
It's hard.
I kind of want to do devil's advocate and say for better.
Yeah.
With that being said, my ceremony ended up being my favorite part of my wedding day. But I had a full-blown panic attack beforehand because I was so nervous about standing up there in front of everybody just looking at me.
Watching you, yeah.
So I think the build up to that moment, my doing the photos and the first look and all of that, I think I would have enjoyed even more if I didn't have that pressure of the ceremony moment. So personally, I think for better, because you're able to actually enjoy that ceremony and,
which is a big deal.
yeah.
Like that's,
Right.
you want to enjoy
And
it.
be
You want to remember it.
present.
I
Yes.
agree with that.
Yeah.
In
Because
that
you kind of
moment.
black out of
Right.
anxiety.
Right.
Right. No. And especially you guys knowing everybody knows now, actually, knowing my
Anxiety.
fears and my phobia,
Yeah.
like that's in the back of my mind. I'm like, what if I need to escape? And I can't, and everybody's just staring at me. So that was in the back of my mind on my wedding day. And it sucks that was in the back of my mind on my wedding day, because it shouldn't have been. So I think if it would have just been my immediate family, maybe like my closest friends for that ceremony only, I would have had no stress at all for that moment. So I'm going to say for better.
I like that. Though.
That is very true.
But again, my ceremony was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that everybody was able to witness it. And it did end up being my favorite part of wedding day, looking back at it. But the buildup was just very intense for me personally.
I am kind of interested in maybe this is me asking anyone who's listening. I'm very interested to hear people's perspectives who have eloped.
Yeah.
And people's perspectives who had a large crowd.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if the people that did elope, because I feel like everyone that elopes and has more of a small intimate ceremony, whether it just be the 2 of them or 10 or 30 people max, they say they never regret it. And I'm interested.
It's crazy because I think last time I said, I don't know, maybe I think I said that, excuse me. I kind of would, like, if I was to redo my wedding, I would want to elope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's like, well, right then and there, I want an intimate ceremony. Not everyone's coming to the wedding, but
hard.
it is a really hard one. I think they're both so special, and it's hard.
So with that being said, if you have had more of an intimate ceremony, what have your feelings been, either reflecting on that or why you made that choice? If you want to share, we'd love to hear.
Yes.
And if you've had a bigger wedding with everyone present that you wanted to be there that did show up, how did you feel about that also?
Yeah.
Interested to hear.
Open in the floor.
Yeah.
Take
Just
a mic.
tell us.
Yeah.
Let us know.
We'll give you a mic.
Take a mic.
Okay. Well, also along those lines of kind of engaging with other people that are listening, I think something that we wanted to say and touch on last week, we got the sweetest response, the coolest response, especially only the first full episode, but like second episode in. And oh man, I'm playing it. I'm trying to actually go back to the real comment. I won't read the whole thing. But let me pull it up. There we go. So I think it's kind of cool and also speaks to why we wanted to do this, and that we got feedback like this so fast from someone who found us on TikTok.
Yeah.
We knew TikTok was the place to be. We said it.
Our very first or second TikTok, I think she liked or commented. And she responded with a whole, you're not gonna be able to see it from here.
I'll take a screenshot.
But a whole like bulleted list of things she appreciated and related to as someone who is a current people pleaser, going through the wedding process, and how this helped her and how it just allowed her to not feel alone, which I think is just
so
really
special.
cool.
I know. Like that is there's
point
no
of
better
this.
feeling.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, and the fact that she said, like, I was waiting for this
Yeah.
episode, and she commented, I think, on the TikTok that she found us, she was like, as a fellow people pleaser, I can't wait for this. So to know that helped, that's really cool. So
it's so sweet. And to even just explain it, like sometimes it's easy just to be like, great podcast, loved it. But like for her to like go into detail and literally put like bullet points of what she loved about it and like she's going
she
through.
resonated with.
Yes. It's like, wow, like that, it's just the best.
it felt really good. So
Thanks for your
Allison.
feedback.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks so much for that. We appreciate it a lot. It means a lot
I
to
hope
us.
you continue to like what we're talking about.
We're always here. You can always ask us questions.
Yes.
We're here to help.
We're reading the comments, so
Yes.
we appreciate it.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Heavy one today, guys. We did
We
it.
did it. We made it through.
We made it through.
Yes.
If you've listened this long, thanks for sticking with us.
thanks for being here.
And we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.